Hey everybody, welcome back to the Toy Duo team. Roll the music.
When you have a plastic addiction and your shelves are overflowing, when you don't know what new is coming, but you fear you might miss out, just sit right back, just relax and watch you listen. The Toy Duo team brings you what you need, the toy news you did not know you needed. Toy News team has it all for you. Action figures, TV news, all the pop culture you can handle. You can have more action figures that will ever fit on your shelf.
Oh, I want more.
Oh, that was a short
I
version.
always feel like, yeah, I'm with Dino. I always feel like you just
I tell you honestly, Vern, a lot of times like a long intro is something people don't want, but I don't know, man. I kind of want a little bit more. What do you
Let me
think?
tell you what.
How
I'm
do
going
you
to tell you
feel
what.
about long intros?
All right, hold on. Before we get started, there's this website called Suno. You can go in and make your own 1,700-minute intro and put it on your channel.
Oh,
What's
I
the
see.
site you use to make the music, Vern? What's that one?
It's not the Suno one that I just said that you could go to make
It
your
is that
own.
one?
Yeah.
Is it do video stuff too, or just audio stuff?
Just the music.
Selective
Hey, Vern,
hearing.
did
That's
you
what it
say
is,
there
man.
was a website that you went to do that intro music?
Yep. Rick might know what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a song while we're live. Call it the
That would be
outro.
pretty funny. I was thinking about well, I'm going to show a slide later on, and it kind of makes me think about different stuff. So I'll kind of mention that like when we get there. But
What kind of
it's
different stuff.
2025. This is the first episode of 2025.
Wow.
Welcome back, everybody. I know we missed last week. It was a rerun. There were lots of happy people reminding me that we saw all this stuff before.
They were the best parts, though, right?
Well, they were the best parts that I could grab in like the 20 minutes that I thought, oh, I should like post a. No, what I did was I think I grabbed I grabbed some of the earlier conversations that we had earlier last year, and then I think the second half of the video was the interview that we did with the Legends of the Hidden Force guy.
Yeah.
And then but some of the stuff I thought was pretty funny. Like I did a lot of the games that we did, like when we were doing the name.
Yeah, that was cool.
Seconds. And I don't know what happened to that, but you guys I think privately you guys just told me you were tired of trying to guess stuff in 30 seconds.
No, that's the best part of the show.
I don't think
I
I
have
was
to
part
ask
of
though,
that
why
conversation.
every time I spoke, did it get muted in your edit, and you put up like a smiley face icon over my face to kind of hide my identity? I thought that was weird. I don't remember that happening live.
I'll have to watch that back again because I don't think I did any of that type of editing. But if
That's
I
a
did,
good idea, though.
yeah, it is. Let's see. How do we do that live?
What is this button here that I just clicked on?
I have no
Where
idea.
I can post a comment in the chat. There's a button to the left, and I
Oh, is
clicked
that
it.
where you provide like a super chat or a super?
I don't know. No, I'm within the
And you got to
StreamYard.
put a dollar amount next to it, Rick.
I don't know
No,
if I just blocked myself
I
or.
recommend. Look, I recommend everybody watching right now. There's a little like $sign thing in the comments. All of you just click on that really quick. Type in 500 and hit enter. And see what happens.
Yeah.
See what
I think
happens.
most of it will get bounced, I think.
Yeah. Anyways, let's say hi to some people in the chat before we get started. We got Galactic Mule wanting to know when are we going to get started? We got Left Coast Graphics, Dandy's in there. Jonathan Redmond saying evening all. Yes, Jonathan, we are 2 hours earlier today, but that is because I do have something going on later in the afternoon. Cedar Stuff is here joining us saying hello, everyone. Duffman Diorama is here saying hello and punching us. Jumpy McClunky is saying hello to everybody. And then hey, and then he's doing the Don Gene.
I don't get it. Oh,
No, you guys have to watch Kim's Convenience to know what that is.
Oh,
but anyway,
joke, eh?
What?
It must be a Canadian joke.
No, have you? Let's see, Duffman. Let's see. All right, I'll just say it really quick. Okay, so if you watch the Kim's Convenience, when the one guy, the guy that plays the Shang-Chi later in Marvel movies, he gets promoted to assistant manager. Well, he's really good friends with the guy who works in the shop. And the two of them are always joking around together. And what he does is he puts his hands like this and he kind of jabs him, but much lower and kind of from the back. And then the dude files like the harassment complaint against
Watch
him. And he's trying to explain it's not harassment, it's just something kids do to each other. And it's called it's like
Canadian comedy right there.
Yeah.
and then he's trying to explain it to the other employees, and he goes, it's like when you pant somebody or when you do the little underwear.
Would you, right?
And he goes, not that I would do it to you.
So will next week be the week we see Captain Carson Teva make his
No.
make his appearance in the Skeleton Crew?
I think that he was probably busy filming his show to have gone over and done the Skeleton Crew at the time that they were probably filming simultaneously. That's why he didn't get a chance to be the X-Wing pilot.
Well, you could just go to the Stagecraft here in Vancouver and they can.
Yeah, but I think that because he was doing the other show, he probably
Avatar.
he didn't have the opportunity to do the Star Wars one. That's what my guess is.
Maybe. I know when he came here to do that, it was a good 2 or 3 months that they worked on that out in
I think it's a better idea to keep him out of it. I don't think he should be the only pilot, because then it just makes it too monotonous.
It seems like wait, you got so these are the only 2 X-Wing pilots that can fly around.
Yeah. Right.
It's a very small republic
part of the galaxy.
Because I would say that like he's probably going to be in the Mandalorian movie for sure. Because he's built into that. So then he'll be the only Star Wars character that's been in a Star Wars movie and show that still doesn't have an action figure.
Man, we can't let that happen.
Really,
I think that's a big swing and a miss on Hasbro's part. But anyways, Johninator's here. And it's time to start the show with a little bit of bragging camp. So this is the toy bragging you did not know you needed. Does anybody have anything they want to share this week? Hey, let's say hi to Bees Battles Grounds, who's they could plug another known Rebel pilot that's known. Yeah.
Maybe.
All right. Who wants to go first?
Dan has an item right there.
Oh, nice. Hold on. Let me make.
Did we talk about these guys? And I apologize if it was on the.
That's okay.
The Catman
that I missed it. So Spiro Toys. Have we talked about them?
I don't think so. No, but that looks pretty cool. I like it.
Okay, so I've been working on getting like a I don't know if you guys play like Dungeons and Dragons games or Skyrim, Dragon Age. I want to make
that one. Yeah.
So I always like the feline characters, and so when I saw this pop up on my Instagram, I flipped over. They had a warehouse sale over the New Year, and these were only like $18 or something like that, plus shipping. But I mean, they're great. Yeah, they're great figures. They're pretty solid made, standard joints.
Is it 6-inch or more, 7-inch?
It's a 12. Yeah, it's a 112. It's 6-inch. Yeah, it's 6-inch. So they scale with the rest of my stuff. But so I grabbed 3 of them. I only brought 2 over here because the other one's still in the package. But they come with variable heads. This one's got armor, obviously.
Oh, and a helmet too.
A couple nice swords. Yeah.
What's the line called? Like Warriors of the something?
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's Kingdoms, Beasts of the. Hold on, I'm gonna screw it up. It's weird. It's awkward. It doesn't roll off the tongue. Animal Warriors of the Kingdom.
That's what. I knew it was something long.
You're right.
That.
Yeah. You know. So
something animals.
But I picked up the cat ones. I picked up the cat. Dang it.
Oh, that's cool. That looks like that dude from the Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, a little Shavastian lack looking.
Oh yeah, there we go.
A little bit. It could totally fit in for like another character of the same sort of species.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they have more than just. I mean, like I said, I picked up the feline ones. They have ape, tiger.
Oh yeah, they got the bigger ones too, right? Like
they did. They had a 60. I think it was $60, which really isn't that bad because you would have. I was thinking about how much work it would take to make like a custom Gorilla Grodd. I'm like, there's enough figures of him already. But yeah, check them out. Spiro Toys.
Nice.
They're decent price. They have good stuff, and I think there's like 4 waves altogether.
That is cool. I like it.
I definitely. Do you set up a diorama?
I did. Yeah, it's in the other room. I can. It's kind of a medieval type.
Okay, we'd like to see that.
Yeah, we'll wait.
We need more.
No, it's big. I can't bring it.
I'm trying to put you on the spot.
Dino's got to give us all some homework assignments, I think.
Yeah.
We need some,
I think
actually,
that's
that's
a
where
good
it started. Dean, Vern, the points of articulation.
Yes.
It's points for articulable.
Yeah. So the Viking guy that I made, he's the one that started me in wanting to get this display up.
Right arm.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right, we should do that again.
Now, are you posting any photos on Instagram or anything?
I will as soon. I'm gonna figure out what I want him to be doing, and once I get like a little set together, I just got him, so.
Now, people that are not following you possibly on Instagram, where can they find you?
So I think it's dan.any on Instagram. Just my name without the D.
He's the only Dan.
I'm sure I'm the only Dan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only Dan.eny.
All right, Rick, do you have anything you want to show off?
Nothing to pick up, but I did get, that Amazon's getting ready to ship my G Busters O-ring 4-pack, so I'm excited to get that. I've seen John's reviews and other reviews, and I'm like, I'm not an O-ring guy, but these look pretty freaking cool, man. So I look forward to getting that. And my buddy found a Playmobil Ghostbusters like playhouse, like the fire station, and he's just gonna give me that because he got it at a flea market or something for $10, and I'm like, yeah, that'll go
cool.
great
Right,
with my O-rings.
I don't want to see that for sale on Instagram and Twitter later.
No, it's
if it's a gift.
it's just the building with no parts or whatever, so it'll look cool with the figures in front of it though.
All right, that's cool. All right, Dean, you got anything you want to show off?
Yeah, I got a couple of things now.
Dean never has anything.
No, he doesn't. We usually leave them for last and forget about them.
If you watch my latest video, I'm trying to back off on like impulse buying. So, but I couldn't. I guess I already failed. But I picked this one up today.
What the F did you buy that for? Do you know?
What's that?
What the F did you buy that for?
This one's awesome. I love yeah, exactly. I love Leatherhead, and this guy looks awesome.
Really, that's funny because this is the first you ever mentioned Leatherhead.
Yeah.
Well, I love the original Leatherhead.
Wait, I think you mean Leatherface.
Yeah, that too. Texas Chainsaw.
He's not anywhere near as good as Genghis Frog, though.
The Mad Balls. Did anybody collect Mad Balls back in the day? Look at
yes.
Oh man,
I had a couple.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I never had Mad Balls, and I remember seeing them at Toys R Us and stuff like that. But they actually just re-released like different versions. But this is Screaming Mimi, just like the original, except for this. Now they come with
real hair.
Well, not real hair, but yeah,
got more hair than me. Jeez.
Yeah, that's great. I don't remember them having hair on them.
But I thought this was
one in my truck.
Yeah,
well, the hair is there because you know how they're making them these days. They're actually shrinking down people's heads. And,
yeah, they're real.
Yeah,
I really like the packaging because I remember as a kid, it was like they were in a baggie with a hang tag on them. Like they were very cheaply packaged.
Swabulous. Now, I think Swabulous, in my opinion, is probably the most known.
Now, can I ask you a question about the packaging? Is that plastic that's around it like a little bit harder, or is it like squeezable? Like it's
hard.
Oh, that's cool. You know what? If you're into crafting or anything like that, you could totally use those plastic pieces to make something. Like I was thinking, like you could put two of them together and make like some sort of like a chamber where somebody's like in suspended animation or something like that. Sure. Yeah. Or it could be like a porthole in like a wall or something like that, where you got like some concave, like mirror.
Here's Mad Balls. Cool. Forget about Vern's crafting projects.
I bet you Froggy Flips is all over those.
Yeah, right. Well, I've never. I look for like I don't know how accurate these are to the original, but I will.
Well, that one's got hair too, doesn't it?
Yeah, they both have. All of them have hair. They
never had hair when I was a kid.
If you're curious on the other ones, I do have a short on my channel that shows you all 6 of them. But I will do an unboxing if people want to see these. To see, I've never had it, so I don't know if they compare to the originals. But I guess you could be the judge if you see them.
If you've never had it and they don't give you those nostalgia feels, what
they do.
What the F did you buy it
They
for?
actually do, because I
No, you
remember
just
seeing them
throw
in
at
the
each
store.
other. You just pick them up and throw them at other people.
I've always
Yeah.
wanted to get, you know, when I started recollecting and things like that, going back to the 80s and 90s toys, I want to pick up a Mad Ball, but they're pretty expensive. So to
All
find
right,
these
check
for
this out.
$6,
What's the
I
name of the
would-
company making them?
If I was a kid, I would. This is exactly what I do with the Mad Ball. I would take it to baseball practice and I would keep it in my back pocket. And then when we're out there playing catch, you know, like warming up, I would take the first ball and then I'd swap it. And then when I threw it back, just to see the reaction of the person that I'm warming up with,
See if they cry.
like because they're like expecting a baseball coming back, and then
yeah,
You get that.
It would be great if you could
Screaming,
throw with
Mimi.
no spin. If you could do a throw with no spin, so it's coming straight at him with his face screaming.
oh, it would be even better if the guy with that's unbeknownst that it's coming to him had like a camera mounted to his hat.
A GoPro on the
Yeah.
head, right?
Yeah,
And you
so
can
you
see
can
it
slow
flying
down.
straight at him. Yeah.
yeah, that's it. So it
right.
sounds like, it looks like people are pretty excited about the Mad Balls.
Yeah, I think the Mad Balls are cool. I remember them vividly. All right, John, what do you got?
Well, I found something interesting here. So, GI Joe fans, help me out. So this on first glance, you're gonna say it's a Cobra Commander, probably
With the
from
ice paint on.
Is that a
Probably
Cobra
from-
Commander?
No,
probably
that's
from some other
a
country.
ruined
or
action
something.
figure, is what it is. Somebody repainted it.
So,
Yeah, that's worth nothing.
But-
You can't sell that.
but then when you start looking at it closer, you realize that the arms don't actually have elbow joints. So you're like,
Yeah,
wait a
that's
minute.
because totally modified.
That's not a GI Joe. And then you realize
Pre-bent.
it doesn't have knee joints, and you're like, hold on a second. And then that there's no rubber band in it. It's a solid piece of plastic. And there's actually 2 screw holes in the back, not one.
Interesting.
So this is entirely the mold of Cobra Commander, but it's been like somehow
Modified,
removed
yeah.
of its knee joints and elbow joints, painted green and gray and blue, and also has 2 screw holes instead of 1.
So what somebody
So-
did, John, was they took their Cobra Commander, they made a mold, they pressed out all the plastic, then they screwed it together, and then they sold it to you for more than what you would have paid it for, even though
No, this was $1 at a garage sale.
It's a pretty unique item, though. That's pretty cool. I've never seen one of those.
it's-
they basically molded that out of like 27 cents.
Is
worth
it,
of
what
plastic.
year? Does it have a year on the legs? Are
Yeah, I've
those
been
the-
looking around, and there's a date stamp on the back of 1983.
Really?
It's left over from
it
when they
says
did copies.
1988,
It has
1988, and that's the only date stamp is 1988 on its back here.
But that's
The
pretty
GI
cool
Joe.
that it's 88.
I wonder what country bootleg that. Have you learned that yet?
No, that's what I'm saying. I haven't learned anything about it. I want GI Joe fans to help me figure out
Cedar
which
Force is
country
calling
this
it-
comes from
it's
and
one of
where
the-
it was made.
Cedar Force is saying it's in action force.
An action force.
In action,
No
yeah,
action.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
In
also
action
called it the
figure.
GI No.
I know, yeah.
GI No, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Is that it?
You know, Jumpy wants to turn them in. He's going to email and phone.
I dig it.
I'm gonna let
It's a cool
Hasbro know
find.
right after this is over.
Yep, exactly.
He's-
Yeah,
He's talking about something else, but yeah.
We're gonna need the
Yeah.
address of the person who sold you that for $1.
yep.
I think
You know what? He
Jumpy's
probably got it from Temu for 3 cents,
Yeah, probably right.
What they do, isn't it?
along with his Go
Well,
box.
it's the other thing too is like you can see wear on the feet and there's wear on the arms. So like kids were playing with this for a little while. You know what I mean?
Or-
Like you can.
Or he
Just
just rubbed
wear
it
on the head.
sidewalk to
But
make you
where
think
were
the
those
kids
kids?
playing
Were
with
they
it.
in Brazil? Were they in Argentina?
It's
Were they
probably like a Brazil or
the-
Argentina. You're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, because usually in the South American countries is where things
That's my
like this
guess.
come from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty bad.
so it sounds like Jumpy is
He just ripped
waiting
on a
for his
whole
Ghostbuster
section of
figures.
the world.
Yeah, me too.
So well, yeah.
Where is Jumpy? Is Jumpy in the UK?
Yeah,
That's all I got right now.
All
yeah,
right,
Jumpy.
I got a
Jumpy's
couple
waiting for
more
his
GI
Ghostbuster.
Joes from that garage sale, but that's
all right. So
they were
if
real
you're-
GI Joes. This is the one that stood
Can I
out.
ask John a GI Joe question?
Hold on. Yeah, right after I switch places with him. If you're still not going to Ross still, you should
That's
head
cool.
on out because they're still getting stuff. So
Is that Leatherhead?
yes.
Yeah. Pino, why don't you have this alligator
Oh, man.
transformer if you love alligators?
Is his
so
name
much?
Alligator?
No, Alligator Con.
Oh, okay, okay.
Whatever.
I was
Do
like,
we have
wow,
a theme
that's a
going
great
on
name.
today?
All right, ask your question.
My G.I. Joe question, John. I uploaded today a video of like 80s
I
G.I.
saw
Joe
all those.
commercials.
Yeah.
And a vehicle came up called the Hammerhead. And I'm like, what? There's a vehicle called the Hammerhead? It's a kind of futuristic looking space tanky thing.
That had
Sergeant
to
Slaughter
be.
drove. Do you
Was
have
that in
one
the
of those?
90s? Was that in the? It had to be.
Yeah,
in the
I think it was
90s, right?
late 80s, early 90s. The Hammerhead.
Yeah,
But I
don't
think I need
remember
to
that
get
one.
one. I saw like 10 vehicles that I never knew ever existed, like Squirt Gun Joes and
Yeah,
just
that's
like
when they got.
after the Neons and the
They
Street
went
Fighters.
nuts. Yeah, yeah.
But now I'm on a lookout for a G.I. Joe vehicle called the Hammerhead.
I'll have to look at that one. I don't know if the
So I can
Hammerhead.
paint them up in Hammerhead turquoise goodness. And
Oh, that's a really cool looking Hammerhead figure.
I'm trying to figure out. I was gonna include this in my top 5 video of
The
the year.
head's like
But
gigantic.
I got this
It
last
looks
year,
a
so I
little
can't include
top-heavy.
this again.
Who made that?
Yeah,
They should
dude,
be fired from
they
Hasbro.
should. He ruined that figure. Whoever did that.
I know completely.
Badass.
All right. Anyways, talking about GI Joe, right? We'll bring up this section. It's called GI Joe Creators: The News You Did Not Know You Needed. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't know if you guys saw my channel recently. What I did was I took those first 3 videos that I did 17 years ago and I tried to edit them into the shorts format because you can now upload a 3-minute short. So one of a couple of the videos I think were longer than 3 minutes. So I kind of
Is that not a short anymore? That's kind of like a medium.
sped up
Like a
some
medium.
of the scenes to sort of fit them under 3 minutes. I was trying to keep them around just around 2 minutes. So I re-uploaded them. Then I put one scene, I think, up on Instagram or whatever. But anyway, somebody turned me on to another live stream. They go, hey, are you going to watch this other live stream? And it's on this guy named Paul Knapp's channel. And when I was watching it, these guys are, they I guess on Facebook, they have a group called the Axis of Awesomeness. And it seems like they're really big 12-inch GI Joe collectors. Like that's what they focus on. And they were talking about all things like 12-inch GI Joes, and I thought it was really cool because I mean that's kind of my first Joes were the 12-inch GI Joes, and
So they're your age.
Yeah, I have like an affinity for these like 12-inch.
Yeah, they're
GI
really
Joes.
old.
I don't highlight them so much anymore because of the Classified series has kind of taken over my collection. And I got a lot of my 12-inch Joes just like tucked away in a box, and I only have like some of my Adventure Team figures up on a top shelf. But they were talking about it, and one of the things that happened was Skunkworks came on. He was talking about this contest that he's doing. So he has this video on his channel, and he's doing the Curse of the Golden Skull. And so what I wanted to do was just talk about it, because we used to do that thing on the Points of Articulation where we would do like photos and stuff like that. And
Homework.
yeah, homework. And people got into it and posted the photos that they would take and stuff like that. They had like some type of a theme. And it kind of like made me think like, man, you know, I guess my original intent of what I wanted to do with my channel has really changed completely. I still do a little bit of stop motion, but I haven't necessarily done like a stop motion like story in a long time, which I keep saying I'm doing and I am kind of working on, but I'm trying to like figure out how to put everything together and exactly what I'm going to do, right? Like I had like a loose outline of a story and stuff like that, and I filmed a couple of scenes that I wasn't happy with, so they kind of got shelved. Maybe one day I'll just show all that stuff off. But so he's got this contest and he's got like 3 tiers. And this one tier, if you have a YouTube channel, he kind of wants you to make a picture show or some type of a YouTube video, and he'll send you like an unfinished resin skull so that you can like make that part of your storyline. So the storyline, he wanted to do this thing where it's like all based on this curse of this golden skull. So free to do whatever story you want, if you can tie it into this golden skull, it can be part of this contest, right?
That's a cool idea.
Yeah. So then he has a second tier, which is if you don't have a YouTube, but you have social media, you can upload your stuff on social media. And then he's got like the photo contest one, right? Like, but they're going to like highlight this thing on their live stream sometime in October. So
October. So they're giving you all year. Wow. That's
yeah,
good.
stop motion takes a while. So he's going to produce these. You got to get to him before the end of January if you want one of those these skulls from him.
How big are they? Do you know?
I'm guessing like
12-inch scale, I would think.
If you yeah, it's probably in the 1/6 scale. But if you told him, hey, I got 12-inch figure or 6-inch figures, he'd probably scale it down for you. They
Or
want you to
go to the group.
Yeah, they want you to tag hashtag Curse of the Golden Skull. The guy is Jay Shear. I'm gonna mess it up. JSHERER74 at yahoo.com. You can email him. But anyways, I thought it was kind of cool. And I started thinking about like when we would do the points of articulation stuff. And then I started thinking about creating those storylines, because when I was doing those, re-editing those videos, it was kind of like sparking that, you know, like, hey, I miss doing this. And so like, I don't know if you saw the titles and stuff like that. I was trying to figure out what because I called that my group the Action Team. And I was trying to figure out, okay, well, why would they be called the Action Team? You know what I mean? So like, I was thinking like, you got to come up with an acronym. Like SHIELD means something. What does action mean? So if somebody has some ideas, you can message me or whatever. And
I have a good idea for your. It should be the Action Duo Team. How about that?
But I thought about doing something where, like, if I do it with
the
my
word articulable.
GIJOEs, one of the hold on, I got to turn this off.
Action A stands for articulable.
What?
C stands for Canada. The articulable Canada.
He's trying to make an acronym.
But yeah, I saw
so
you
I was
uploaded your
thinking,
older
like,
video, Vern, from your 12-inch dolls. And that was awesome because that's like at least 10, 15 years old, right?
17. Yeah, over 17.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see you were actually doing the stop motion with your dollies like 17 years ago when it wasn't really a thing. Like it wasn't like we could go to YouTube and see hundreds of stop motion videos on YouTube 17
well,
years
there was
ago.
a Barbie and a Elvis
Oh no, there
Presley
was
doll
dollies,
in
you know.
Yeah.
They're called dolls. If you can change their clothes, they're called dolls.
Well, you call the dollies.
Fun at it. It's just,
he called them
but
dolls.
that's awesome. I would like to
them at
see
home.
you participate in this Red Skull challenge or Gold Skull thing.
I think I'm gonna do it, but what I'm gonna do is, so this is what I feel like I'm gonna do. I want to kind of cross pollinate this thing. So I was thinking about the acronym for the Action Team, and it was going to be like advanced combat, tactical, infiltration, something, right? Like something like that. But I wanted to do a scene where it was like where they're like talking about their team, and it was like, oh, what is this Action Team? And then I might have the guy say, well, we used to be called the Adventure Team, but times have changed, right? Like just like a throwback conversation. I start thinking about all the little parts and stuff like that. But I think it would be really cool if, you know, more people got involved. So if you guys have like a creative inkling, anybody listening, whatever, watching, I think it's a good idea. Go check them out, you know, see what you can create, even if you don't have like a YouTube channel or something like that. Do some toy photography. Anything.
I think I might join. And just see what I can come up with. Because if I got it like almost a year to come up with it, I think I might be able to come up with something. Yeah, but I've got your Action Team here. It's Armored Command, Totally International Oppression Nerds.
Okay, can you guys hear that dinging? It's like really upsetting me. Because
the cookies are ready, Dino. Get the cookies ready.
No, I just put my phone on silent.
I know, but the thing is, I'm in. Okay, I have to leave this group. Hold on.
Vern's phone doing it, or his computer.
It sounds like
so somebody added.
Cookies are done.
So my grandson's having a birthday party.
Put the cookies down.
And
my cookies.
And they won't stop in this group chat, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how to leave.
Too. My family does the same thing. They start all these group chats, and I'm like, and then they all chat, and they all thumbs up and love it and everything else.
There's a hammerhead. Yeah.
Yeah.
The new coolest vehicle.
articulable Canadian intelligence, omnivorous nerd team. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so any ideas, right? Like, because I was thinking something, yeah, like advanced combat, tactical intelligence, operations, and then I couldn't think of what the nerd that somebody
The
said
nerd
nerd
one
like
was
the nerds.
yeah.
The N would be right, like
Zero
network.
AI was used to create that.
Network or neutralizers.
I was thinking of network because like
Well, it could
like
be
the idea.
neutralizers. What about
So I was trying to flesh
neutralizers?
out the story, right? What do you guys think of this? I want them to be kind of like an international sort of like peacekeeping team or something like that. But because of like politics and
They're
borders or whatever,
neutralizing peace.
There is
it
no
would be a
borders. That's
network.
just an
So
imaginary
basically,
line on a map.
well,
now
it
that
would
we're
be
part
like a
of the
network.
United
So
States.
like they would have members from different countries. So basically, if
Well,
they
that's the
went to a
international
certain
part.
area, this person would be the leader of the team, and he would have like the authority in that area, but he can have anybody working for him type of thing.
Like the governor.
Yeah, something. I don't know. Anyways, just what I was thinking about. I thought it was pretty cool. So
Or N could be naturalists, and they could all be like pro-environment, saving the.
They're all vegan fighters.
Yeah, they're
I
vegan
like network.
fighters.
I think
They should remake the food fighter toys and make them all vegan, just vegetables.
I think they have.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
have
I think the skull is a great idea, especially to give people a reason to play with toys again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I
we need
totally
these-
think so.
Creating
I play
something,
with my
photo
toys a lot.
photography
What
or
do you mean
painting,
again?
just anything that you enjoy doing and just making it your own. I think that's a fantastic idea.
So
So I
Vern
think
wants to make
I'm glad I
toy
thought
duo
of it.
team,
Yes.
a toy duo team, 5-minute stop motion video where we each contribute 1 minute and we write 1 minute of content.
You know how long
Vern
1
will
minute
still
of
give
stop
us
motion
the
is?
homework assignment and the theme of our 5-part stop motion.
So the
show.
only part I won't get is probably from the person who said, I'm going to draw caricatures of everybody 7 months ago.
Well, I got 7 months still.
Due in October. Anyways.
I have one from a carnival.
Yeah. Of course you do. All right.
Of
Anyways,
course I do, right?
let's say hi to some people that maybe that's joined us. I know we had Rolando came in.
Yep.
Let's see. I see
Mr. B came in.
Mr. B. Oh yeah. I see him. I'm scrolling. That's why.
should be it.
Rough Shad Stocks. Saying
no.
hello to Dan.
Hey, Rough Shad.
I was like, Jumpy's having some Hasbro problems. That
Oh, Rough
sucks.
Shad. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so
Yes,
This is
Ghostbusters
episode-
figures.
this is episode 96. So what we've been doing is the history along the way. So we're doing a history of the year 1996, and this is the history you didn't know you knew. Does anybody remember anything from 1996?
No, I was asleep.
Yeah, I was in 11th grade.
The whole year I was asleep in 1996.
11th grade.
No, hold away, 86. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, gee whiz,
Yes.
you've been
I'm
lining
dead.
up your age.
Yeah,
Did you
I
get
think I was
held back
asleep
that
in
many
96.
times?
I was in
I
8th
was
grade. Yeah.
done- I was done with my first 4-year degree of college and starting work at Xerox around this time.
Nice. So you can completely relate to that, Dilbert.
Entering the corporate life at this time. Yeah, exactly.
Action,
I had my own
command, tactics, and
cubicle.
operations, and neutralization.
There, that's a good one.
Oh, okay.
I was in boot camp, so I.
All right. So in 1996, it was the end of the tea testers whose job was to make sure that imported tea was good enough to be sold in the United States.
What the crap? That was a thing?
No way. The states, they can make their own tea from now on.
It was a thing from 1897. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Talk about thinning. Also,
So in 1896, they all sat down and went, you know what? I've had it. Some of this tea is just garbage. We need an official tea tester group. Let's put together a group of 12 people who are designated to taste all the tea before we bring it into America.
yeah. I think that what happened was in 1996, they realized coffee is more
18.
important to Americans than tea.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
And then
And they
said,
couldn't have
"Let's
waited
start
one
waking up,
more
it's
year."
flavors in your cup.
They couldn't have waited one more year just so the tea testers could say, I had a job for 100 years.
Maxwell House, good to the last drop. And if any of those coffee brands want to sponsor me, I'm available.
Even instant coffee?
Yeah, I guess. So kind of crazy, right? That we had tea testers.
I would do that job.
Yeah.
I'm sure it pays super good, right? Like, how could it not pay well?
And if
Yeah,
it
I
fails,
know.
we throw it in the river, right?
You've got to sit there 8 hours a day drinking tea nonstop.
I don't think my pinky could handle it.
You get no pee breaks until 5 p.m.
Yep.
The
But yeah,
waving inflatable arm flailing tube man was created in 1996 for the Olympics in Atlanta. And now
That's
you see him at every car dealership.
Car dealership in
country.
the world, yeah.
My favorite nod to the giant, wavy, crazy inflatable arm thing is
Dan, don't you have a mini one?
was Family Guy. Family Guy has that scene, and that's just hilarious, man.
Look at he has one right in front of him.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious.
I love that Family Guy scene. It's just the greatest.
That's cool. Yeah, it's been around since 1996.
Dan
crazy.
doesn't work anymore, apparently.
Yeah, mine's a little
You
tired.
got to blow on it.
My back.
Batteries.
The battery needs to be charged. That's cool. I like it. I need one of those. Anyways, Jim Carrey was the first actor to make $20 million to star in a single film, and it was the Cable Guy.
Did someone before him make 30 million or 25 million?
No, I think at that time in 1996, that 20 million was like the big number, and he was
The highest
person
paid.
to achieve it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how much do you think you got paid to go be in Sonic 3 or whatever number they're on?
Oh, a lot.
$50.
No, he got paid.
I bet
a
you
lot of
like
money
$40 million, man.
Let's see. Jonathan saying, I'd never send the U.S. any tea after you'll dump that Boston batch in the sea.
Yeah, and I'm right next to Boston. My,
And then
my son
Connor,
goes to college in Boston.
Wouldn't have been the first time. Okay. Wouldn't have been the first time. Let's see. The first person to stream their life on the internet was a 19-year-old named Jenny Ringley on the Jenny Cam, which broadcasted from her college dorm room 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and got 7 million hits per day, which was a significant portion of the internet.
That's crazy, huh?
I'm trying to think where that might have been. That might have been like the first kind of days of, I think it was Twitch. It was called Justin TV, because I think Justin TV was the first kind of website that people could stream videos on live.
I think this person did it. I think she set it up and did it on her own.
Yeah, we set it up and did it. This may have been the reason that we set one up in our apartment.
Yeah.
Because it was around this time. Yeah, it was because I started working at Xerox, and then I was living a year on my own, and then my friend Matt came by, and we ended up getting an apartment together in the same complex. We just moved from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom in the same place, and then one of my friends, Dave Vincent, was very much into this web stuff, and he goes, people are filming their life and putting it on, and I had a webcam on my thing for my own. I had a johnsgeneric.com website, and I would use the webcam to snap pictures and take different things, and he helped me set it up, and we were running our apartment online on that website for like 24/7.
How many hits did you get, and how long was it up for?
It was up for a couple years. We had it
Really?
up. Yeah. Because everyone liked watching us play video games. We would have LAN parties. We would have LAN parties at the apartment, and when we were playing Diablo 2 and stuff like that, they would come in and watch us play, even though they couldn't see the screen. You know what I mean?
Dean, let's let John tell the truth. It's still running in that apartment.
Yeah,
because
he was painting the wall.
Every once in a while, he shows up as a handyman and has to go reboot the 186 computer that's running that thing.
And recall in the dial-up modem.
Dude, we had 486
Well, yeah,
computers.
so Tom Green, earlier than this, early 90s, had to contact like local Ottawa TV channels so he can like get a wire direct to his house so he could stream on the like Wayne's World on the local broadcasting kind of channels kind of thing. And so he literally started doing that from like his mom's basement in Ottawa, Ontario, when I was a kid. And that's
But that wasn't on the internet. That was
Yeah, see, that's
it was. Yeah, no, he was the first person to have internet in Eastern Canada because of this, and
but he was
they
not
had to wire it
streaming.
directly to his house.
He was not streaming a TV show on public broadcasting or whatever.
Public access
or one of the
TV, it was
public
called.
access. That's not how. That's he wasn't doing it over the internet.
No, he needed the internet to do this. There's a lot to it, but yeah, he's
All right,
kind of
well,
the
well,
pioneer of
that's
what we're
kind of
doing
how
now.
that's kind of how we got ours going, because Matt actually worked for a company that was installing line, and he was able to set us up with a T1 connection and
That's what it
install
is,
T1 lines in at that time. Yeah, because he just took all the stuff from work. So
all right.
we had the fastest connection in the neighborhood.
What about minivans? Didn't minivans, something happen about minivans?
Yeah, 1996, Matt perfecting. Sliding doors on both sides of the second row seats did not exist before 1996.
Man, I got good memories of my buddy's Nissan minivan, multi-wagon, whatever it's called. But yeah, the sliding vans would open on both sides, and all of us would get in, like 4 guys, 4 girls, and we go to the beach, hanging out the doors. We were all cool back in the day. But yeah.
Well, I will tell you that when I drove my friends to the beach, they sat in the back of my pickup truck and they couldn't understand why they were always getting headaches going to and coming back. And then when I took my car to get smogged, I realized, or I was told, that no emissions were coming out of my muffler. So when I took it to the muffler shop, it appears that that little exhaust pipe was broken right at the point where like the cab and the bed of the truck was. So all the emissions were coming up.
They're coming up
Right
into the truck.
Yeah.
Now
So
all
let's
those
see.
people are bald, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
luckily for the smog check, I was able to get that fixed. All right, so here are some of the movies that came out in 1996.
Oh, Independence Day. Really? Was that 96?
Yeah.
I remember watching. Yeah, this is the funny thing about this Independence Day. So when my granddaughters were here, maybe a few years ago, in my house, like before they went to Washington and came back, we were sitting around thinking of movies to watch, and I was like, "How about this one, Independence Day?" And my granddaughter looked at me and she goes, "No, because the special effects look cheesy."
Oh, really?
And I remember thinking, like, really? Does it? And yes, it does.
Does it really? No.
Yeah. It doesn't really hold up.
I
that well.
remember we had a whole group of us that went to see Independence Day at the theaters, and we were all walking out of the theater going, "Yeah, that was okay. That was pretty good. That was all right." And my one friend was like, "That was so good. I think it was better than Star Wars." And the rest of us all looked at him like, "Were you crazy?"
You beat him with
Yeah, they were
a
crazy.
sock and some quarters and a sock.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, The
this
Rock
Mission
was hung out with
Impossible,
him again.
when this Mission Impossible came out, there's a movie theater that had like six screens, and all 6 screens were playing Mission Impossible.
Really?
When they were like on like the hour or whatever. So the movie's like 2 hours. So that day I saw Mission Impossible 4 times because I just went to the next screenings.
Cut it out. You saw Mission Impossible 4 times in one day?
I just wanted to watch the train sequence.
Oh my god.
Honestly.
Literally the whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nothing else going on.
I
don't
can't
think I
believe
could sit
that's
through it one
30
time right
years
now.
now.
Yeah.
Next year will be 30 years of Tom Cruise as Mission Impossible.
And aren't there some new Mars Attacks figures coming out? Because
Super 7, I believe.
Yeah, they're
is
making
having-
some. Yeah,
They should
and
be.
Twister,
having-
like that recent Twister's sequel. Is that the only sequel to this Twister movie, or was
Yes.
there like a Twister 2 and a Twister 3? And
it was
No,
the
Twister
only
2
sequel.
just came out.
so that took 30 years too for that sequel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And what
Well,
they're on
28.
screen 10 now?
It took 28 years, Rick, not 30.
Okay. Sorry, I don't do
And
math.
Scream's still running strong too. I mean,
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
they're
they've
getting ready to
done
make another one.
they've
Yeah,
done
yeah,
63
They're
Scream
making another
movies,
one right
yeah.
now.
And what's that above it? The Star
Trek First Contact.
Trek.
That's
And-
where once again a crew of the Enterprise travels back in time
Yeah,
to save the future.
yeah. Because the Borg is going back in time.
Thank you,
Right.
Picard.
Did they go back in time by slingshotting themselves around the sun also?
Well, no, the Borg went back in time using a hyperspace conduit or some weird thing like that, rift in
Oh, okay,
space.
so they made up
And then the Enterprise was sort of like following them, doing like seeing, like trying to get a read on them or something, and they got trapped in the wake of the rift.
You're right. You're right. It's so long ago.
Yeah.
I think I was able to watch that movie once in 1996.
Same here.
Oh,
Was
I've
it
probably
good?
watched it 100 times since then.
It's not good.
No, I love it. I think it's a great movie.
The only Star Treks I would have watched more than once were probably when it got to the Next Generation, and it was like, whatever, late night
The Next
TV.
Generation.
You just need something to watch,
Right,
and
yeah.
it would be reruns of the Next Generation, and that's probably the only reason why I would have rewatched that.
I really liked.
Exactly.
I really liked Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek: The Voyage Home, which was a time travel, and The Undiscovered Country are like
Undiscovered is good. Yeah.
are my 3 favorite Star Trek movies.
Yeah. The
My
whole
favorite Star
trilogy.
Trek is
None of them. The whole trilogy is pretty good. The Wrath of Khan, the Search for Spock, and The Voyage Home.
I like Khan. Ricardo Montalban was great.
And there's one movie of note on this list. There's one movie right here that Dwayne Johnson went to see, and he thought it was so good that he decided to take the name to himself.
That's how it happened.
Yep.
You heard it here first.
The Rock.
The
Yep.
People's Champ? Oh, sorry.
The Rock.
I don't know what
came out
I don't
in
know what Ed
96,
Harris's role is in The Rock because I can't remember.
He was
But
the
I
bad
just feel
guy.
like
He was The Rock.
he was probably big at that time. That's why he got that third top billing.
Yeah.
But I think if that movie were made today, it would just be Connery and Cage.
I don't know. Ed Harris was great in this movie.
Yeah, he was.
Fantastic.
Ed Harris was a great actor.
The Rock is in prison.
The Rock was good. The Rock's my favorite in this bunch here for sure.
All right.
I
I got to go
these
with
in the theater,
I got to
though.
go with Independence Day.
Independence.
Maybe Scream. Scream's a really good one too.
I might not ever watch a Will Smith movie again.
I'll stick with Mission Impossible.
What's the worst?
I think it's between Mission Impossible and Star Trek for me.
What's that second one? Is that Dragonheart?
Dragonheart.
Dragonheart was cool.
Yeah, I remember it, but I don't remember it enough. Like I remember stuff from all these movies, but who was
Sean
the actor
Connery
in
was the
Dragonheart?
dragon in that one. Sean Connery
Yeah.
was the voice of the dragon.
But who was the other actor? Was that
We have
Matthew
no
Mahogany?
idea. He was no name.
The Batman guy, Patrick or Christian Bale? I can't remember
Isn't
anything
that-
about that movie.
Man. Wow.
I
Yeah.
don't think Christian
Dragonheart.
Bale was-
I can't. I didn't even know what it was. I accidentally got a picture of Dragonheart because of the way the films were set up. I wanted to get Twister and
Oh, you couldn't crop it out?
Dragonheart. They made a figure line of this.
They
They
did.
did?
The
Yeah,
I have
dragon
some
is
that have been.
pretty
Well, you can loosely call it a figure line. They don't move.
Well,
They're
it
a
is.
statue
Well, that was.
line of toys.
Yeah, they're like
statue.
2 POA.
Like, you're lucky if the head moved. They were just
all right. And
statues.
talking about toys of 1996,
You know what we should do, Vern?
Flash Gordon action figures,
I
the
think
Toy
we should
Story
show-
figures, and
I
Mars
think we should
Attacks.
I think we should show pictures of like action figures that came out in 1996, Vern.
For the first time, John,
The
we're going to show
Dragonheart
you
ones.
that
Yeah.
these are the figures that came out in 1996.
And
Now,
I just want
I
everyone.
do not remember the Flash Gordon figures.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
made
because it went back to TV somehow in 1996, so they came out with the toy line.
Yeah, there was a new cartoon. And that same mold for the girl was used in other lines.
And do you believe I do not own one Mars Attack figure?
I
Yeah.
like them. They're good
I did.
figures.
I owned a couple.
I want to get a
Kind of
few.
when McFarlane toys came out or Todd's toys, and it was like there was his Spawn figures on the shelves or at the comic stores, and beside it was the Mars Attacks. Because I don't remember seeing them in Toys R Us or Walmart's or anything, but I do remember seeing them at like privately owned little comic stores. Because as these newer toy lines kind of came out, that was the only place that we can kind of find them here in Canada. But I had a couple. I think they're pretty original and retro as F.
When did Toy Story come out? Was it 96 or 95?
I think 96.
The reason
Yeah,
you
this-
don't-
that was the
on
first-
list.
That was the first Buzz Lightyear toy, I believe that, because I remember that package.
yeah.
So
But they've
In
re-put it
96,
out
I
a
was still
million
working
times.
at Target, and I remember picking up the Buzz Lightyear because I was like, when the toys came out, I was like, oh, I really like this guy. But if I were to go back in time, I definitely pick up Woody
Yeah.
instead. Yeah.
Well, I
Oh,
think
really?
that
You think
yeah,
he's worth more?
The first wave is worth a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
those are the toys that left the shelves kind of like, you know, the first Cabbage Patch Kids or the hot
Yeah.
toy of the year kind of
I
thing.
had the Christmas version of Woody. He was wearing a Santa suit, and he would say phrases like
Merry
Christmas
Christmas.
phrases that had to do with his typical normal phrases. I can't
Yeah.
remember exactly what they were, but yeah, I ended up selling, I think, at a yard sale or something. I kind of wish I still had it. It's kind of cool.
But a lot of those Mars Attacks figures, you want to get them in the packaging today, and if you want them loose, you got to find some that are like beat up packages and just that are already like partway open or just destroyed, so you can open them. Because
What?
finding loose figures, most of them are really bad. Like
Well,
every
I
time
mean,
I find loose figures of Mars Attacks, they're like
when
gross. Like I wouldn't
when
want them
you're
in my house.
saying buying loose figures, I mean, you want those bad ones because, I mean, even if they're in packaging and the packaging's, they're not going to be loose.
You got to let them breathe.
I know what you're saying.
No,
Woody never had a
every
gun.
time I find Mars Attacks figures from the 90s, they're so gross I wouldn't even want to bring them in my house. I don't know what happened to all those figures, but they're just terrible.
The Mars Attacks got to him.
Do you
Yeah.
remember the company that made them, John? Because it wasn't like Hasbro or Mattel. It was like a newer.
Yeah, I
You know,
don't. Did they have slime? Like maybe what it is people put slime all over them or something, and they
I don't
just
remember
all got
Ew.
gross stuff put on them, and they're
He-Man had slime. Ghostbusters had slime. Who else had slime? I know those two did. Nickelodeon slime, like
I know where they would look nasty if it was the Martian.
They were made
Girl.
by Trendmaster, Rick.
Trendmaster.
oh yeah,
Okay,
Trendmasters. Yeah, I remember
I wonder
that.
who owns them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spin Master.
Spin Master.
Logical.
Is that true though?
No,
Sit
I
and
don't know who owns
spin.
Sounds like
Sit
it
and-
would be.
Listen, sit and
I'm just
spin.
making stuff up now, just like Rick does. So I mean,
Sit and
No.
spin.
it's not like we know what we're talking
Spin
about.
and Trendmasters merged and became Spin Masters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
Raise
true?
your
John?
hand if you own a sit and spin.
No, you
Sure we
don't.
do. I think they had other licenses that
I
were,
do.
but we weren't buying.
Trendmaster went on to
1996,
make
were we
the
all?
Yeah.
ab crunch and the little leg thing.
That's probably what it is, John and G-Force. Yeah, exactly.
You might have got those figures from Dino's collection. That's why they're slimy
Yeah.
and stuff.
Is
Yeah,
that
they
it?
could have. They could have painted all their Mars Attacks figures with enamel paints.
Yep.
The,
Yeah,
the most
that-
toxic kind
Yeah, that continues to eat away like.
with lots of lead and
So don't ever. It's like if you're making custom figures and you want to like enhance the value, don't paint them with enamels. Use acrylics.
What kind of paint? What kind of paint did you use on this one, Vern?
That's all
Enhance the
acrylic. I can't
value.
acrylic. I, don't,
That's lead paint.
I only.
Tastes
Oh
like
yeah,
lead
that one.
paint.
Is that the one I sent you? Then I used whatever the most toxic paint is I could find.
Yeah,
It's chocolate.
it tastes like bug spray. What do you?
You know what the problem is with the head was like it's molded from epoxy sculpt, and then I painted it with enamel paint, but it was not enamel with acrylic,
Model paint?
but
Okay.
it was a matte like finish. That's why it's not as shiny.
No, acrylic's good because that's the only success I've had with. I think these are acrylics.
I have a couple figures that I custom made, and they're still tacky today.
multi-surface acrylic paint. That's all I've ever used for my.
But are they
minimal-
sticky? Are they sticky?
No,
or
not at
just
all. Not yours,
tacky?
Vern.
Dean,
Now that
Dean
I've licked
says he
it,
made
now
some
that I
tacky
licked it,
figures.
it's sticky. But
Are they sticky or they just look tacky?
They're like my fingers kind of stick to it a little bit.
Oh yeah, that figure's not going to be around in like 20, 30 years.
20, 30 years.
I remember those first wave McFarlane movie Maniacs. They had a weird texture. It was definitely a different plastic than I was used to. Smelled too. Not bad.
That was like in the 96 might have been around the year when
It was.
Todd Mac was making all these toys again, right? Under Todd's Toys.
I
And I
wanted
just
to say
posted
96.
a reel on Instagram yesterday as I'm putting out these little toy commercial videos. I
Plug.
put it on Instagram, and all of a sudden, boom, it gets 1,000 views like within 8 minutes. I'm like, what the hell? But the other ones get 4.
Plug.
But I remember that was kind of what, as an adult, I'm like, I saw these toys, these Spawn toys. I didn't know much about them. I'm like, wow, these are cool. It's a horny black, horns on his head and big scythe and wings and a cape. I'm like, these are cool. So I picked up many of them in the late 90s.
Oh yeah, me too.
They barely moved. They're they're
Sure.
still kind of the same as the toys now. They're like statues, and one arm does this a little bit, and the head does this a little bit. But they're great sculpts always.
Oh yeah. Details.
All right, so here's the TV and movie news that you didn't know you needed. This week, there's a new Western to take the place of Yellowstone, but it's on Netflix. It's called American Primeval. And the big article said you might not be able to watch it because it's pretty violent.
I'll watch that for sure.
I watched the trailer. It looks pretty cool.
Because of the violence.
Yeah, now that I know it's pretty violent, I think I'm gonna watch it.
I like just the way they filmed it.
Yeah, I agree. It seems
The Primeval?
Original's right
Yeah.
word. It seems very artsy, and it does
Because
look
they
like
just
it's well
put
made.
the thing is they couldn't afford a cameraman, so this guy in the front, he's actually the cameraman. So he's like, we need a group shot. I'll just put the camera down here in the grass.
Yeah.
It looks like it's filmed like in one shot.
It's an iPhone.
You know what I
It's an iPhone 6.
Gotta be.
So that already started? Okay, Thursday,
Yeah,
January.
January
Yeah.
9th. Put it in
Yeah.
your queue. And
What does a neo-western mean? Does that mean
so
that
the guy from
Neo
the Matrix is in it?
came out and is flying around during the
Yeah, the
Western?
Matrix guy is in the Old West.
Gotcha.
Yeah, okay. And then this week, normally Eric would be here and we'd tell him this is your opportunity to tell us about the best Star Wars episode this week. And I got to tell you,
I think it needs to be Rick this time that tells us about it.
there was an entire almost head swapping incident in the episode.
Yeah.
Future possibilities for more head swapping in next week. I love this episode. It felt like it could have been a finale, a season finale, series
Like
finale,
a
whatever.
cutoff, right? To like make you want to stick around for another season.
Yeah, because it had, when you see a movie, like we'll always compare it to Goonies. I think that's the best comparison. You got the
Not anymore.
beginning, then they go on an adventure, then maybe some tragedy, they meet enemies, and then they triumph at the end. And this episode, it just felt like good writing, and it moved for being 30-40 minutes, whatever they are, 28 minutes. I think they're cramming a lot in, and we got a lot of answers this week, but then there's still a few answers we need to know, like who is the supervisor, and what will happen with
Darth Maul is
Nana
the
Wood.
supervisor.
Oh, it's Darth Maul? Oh, okay.
So what do you think of it, Vern? You like him?
Yeah, so here's what I got out of this episode. So I really liked the way Jod's character has, like, that's his name, right? Jod. His character just
Captain
completely
Solo.
evolved from being this kind of like sort of rogue with like good intentions but maybe bad intentions to just being like evil in a way. I
He's
feel like
bad.
at this point he's just showing that he's evil, but I have a feeling that they're going to take that back in the last episode, because whoever this supervisor is, I think is going to be a greater threat to like everybody, and that he's going to have to actually battle that internal good versus evil and sort of end up being like the hero.
Yeah,
Right.
save them all, but
Yeah, that's what I have a feeling. That's why on Twitter I stretched and said, "Oh, it's Darth Maul," right? Like he crawls up because I'm just picturing that's that
It's
big
just his
gigantic
legs.
little thing, and you see the spider dude coming up from the really bottom, and it's Maul
That
with
would
like
be cool.
spider legs, right?
I
Which would be
watched
really
the Star Wars Meg. She does like 8 Star Wars videos a day, right, on all these
Uh-huh.
things. And I like to see a lot of people's theories and what they think is going to happen. So she mentioned that she thinks that Jod will get in a lightsaber fight with someone, and I'm like,
The
I
supervisor.
never thought of that. Like, okay, so he's got a lightsaber. What's the other guy going to have? And she's like, well, if it's the old dead pirate, if he happens to be alive and happens to be the supervisor, he might have some space pirate sword, a la Darksaber kind of,
Sure.
that's able to fight a lightsaber. And I'm like, now
That
that there's
could
a
be cool. That
lightsaber
could
in
be
a
like a
show,
cool option also.
we've seen him behead a droid.
listen though.
and threaten
Here's the
kids
thing.
with it. So I
So
want to see if he knows how to use that.
right. My thinking is, so a long time ago they created that world where, they made the clones for the clone troopers, right? So they created these like societies, and this one is obviously like a mint, so they can have like their unlimited funds or whatever. Whoever they left in charge of this whole thing, right, has to be somebody who would be there to protect it for the Sith. So I wouldn't imagine that like there's some type of like a Sith Lord that's been like, in control the whole time, or somehow in control, or even like a Grievous type character or something like that, right? So yeah, I suspect
So
they
you
did
Ooh,
not.
that'd be cool if it was Grievous. But is
So-
Grievous around here?
No, not necessarily.
He said
'cause
like Grievous,
like Grievous, but I'm just imagining like that he, somebody who's been empowered by these like Sith Lords to like.
Oh
take-
my gosh! What if it's Marshawn Rowe?
And I'm, when I, yeah,
What?
and
Ooh,
it could-
who's that?
I heard somebody say, "What if it's Mace Windu?" And I'm like, I don't know. Now you're stretching.
no,
but-
because he wouldn't be watching that mint for, the
no,
Sith.
you're exactly right. I think the reality is that planet and its civilization, however it's set up, making the coins and whatnot, is several hundred years old. So it's what they call the High Republic. It's the era
Right.
of like the Acolyte and even
Yeah,
before that.
that's why I said, what if it's
So it's
Marshawn
not going to
Rowe?
be like Mace Windu. It's not going to be anyone we're familiar with from our Star Wars, because
But it's got to
gonna
be somebody who
someone
has that longevity. That's why
from
I'm
the
thinking
High
like
Republic.
Grievous style, where he's like a robot, but with like the heart or something like that in the mind of a person.
And the bad guy who was going to become a Sith in the High Republic was Marshawn Rowe.
Okay, there you go. So
Oh, I see. That's where that name's from.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Is that from the books?
Yeah, the High Republic stuff. Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, they got to tie it back, and then they also got to give the Jod character the reason to pivot and then become like the hero that he was supposedly
Yeah.
maybe always meant to be.
Yeah.
Because I strongly think that we'll see Jod, his character, whatever his real name actually is, he will be in the later versions of Mandoverse, whether it's the movie or Mando season 4 or Ahsoka season 2, whatever goes on in the Mandoverse in the future. I'm positive his character will be in it, just because he's such a big name actor. And same with that female bounty hunter we saw in the show, the white skinned girl. She's also a well-known actress and had a minimal role in this series in that one episode, but she's alive still. And I think she's a good enough name and people liked her that I could see that character also continuing on in the Mandoverse. Maybe not the kids directly, but I think because the show has been a great success, as I think that's pretty much confirmed, the writers did write it like they've already got plans for what a season 2 could be, considering the kids would be 5 or 10 years older, however long it would take to make. And I think because the show did well, unlike The Acolyte, I think it could possibly get a season 2 3 or 4 years down the road after the Mando movie. And I think that's cool, man. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
This is the trouble with like that story, sort of, right? Like, so now they're back on their planet, they're with their parents. The only way to get those kids into a second season, a second adventure, is to have them forced off the planet and separated again, right?
Yeah, have another traumatic cliffhanger kind of thing.
Right.
at
And
the
that
end
would
of
be the
season
way
8.
to end the show, where Jod saves the parents, destroys the dude, but then, somehow the kids and him have to escape, or they have to chase this guy and they stow aboard the ship. I don't know. It has to be some sort of weird, like, sort of adventure type thing where they're on their second adventure, because I think that was probably why they never had a second Goonies, right?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Because what would be the next story?
Pretty well self-contained, right? So I got a couple of they're not theories, but we kind of saw Neil, the little blue elephant kid. We kind of saw his dad and his mom in the hologram, like, Neil, come home, we love you. We didn't hear him speak though. So the male blue elephant guys, they got big tusks if you didn't see it. So we haven't heard him speak. We did hear the supervisor speak, and the voice was it's a certain
Stephen
actor's
Fry.
name. Yeah, Stephen Fry. So he's a very well-spoken, proper British accent. So I wonder if maybe that could be. I'm just saying maybe that's Neil's dad, just because we haven't heard his voice.
All right. Somebody
Other than
mute
that,
Rick.
I think my wish would be that the supervisor is a lightsaber wielding freaking hammerhead.
Yeah, I know.
With a
There's a reason why they
crossguard, like
showed a lot of
Old
hammerheads,
Republic.
right?
Hammerhead
No.
from the Old Republic. I don't know what his name is, but that's just a wish, not a theory. My theory is there's no supervisor. It's all pre-recorded.
So
Droid
unfortunately, Rick, I think that the lightsaber wielding creature will look something like this.
Oh man, would that ever suck? Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
Or
so that's
it is a little
interesting
monkey
with,
lizard
hold on a second.
behind the Wizard of Oz screen, you know.
So that's interesting. Jonathan says there was less viewers for the Skeleton Crew than the Acolyte, and I
Yeah,
kinda
see,
might
that's
agree
what
with-
that's something that I was going to
People-
bring up. I'm really confused. Like, I don't know where people get the numbers from. And
'cause they're
Jonathan
not
gave me a link to the Nielsen ratings website. And when you download the app from the website, it actually will give you ratings, but it doesn't tell you. They're 2 weeks behind.
Yeah.
So they only tell you, like, they don't tell you the last 2 episodes of this show, Skeleton Crew.
and the problem is,
the thing is a lot of people are reporting, and I actually just saw it on Disney Plus today when I turned the app on, that they have their own like 1 through 10 of the highest watched shows
Mhm.
on Disney Plus, and Skeleton Crew was number 1 this morning.
so let me ask you guys a question. So today, I this is what I think we should do. Everybody go to Twitter, like after the show's over, pull up your Disney Plus and take a picture of your top 10 and post it and tag
see if it's different.
everybody, and we'll see if we all have the same top 10.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Like,
what?
Oh,
the
really?
top
Yeah,
10
yeah.
shows of the
the
week.
most, like, Disney Plus will claim, here's the top 10 shows by viewership. You know what I mean? Like,
Interesting.
the most viewed is number 1, and the least. And for me this morning, a Skeleton Crew was number 1. So I was like, it's the most viewed watch on according to Disney Plus, but is that real? And
Yeah,
I've heard it on other channels. Like, I've heard other
Okay,
YouTube Star Wars channels that I have say, like,
Wait,
the last 2 or 3 episodes have reversed in viewership. The first few were the lowest, even less than the Acolyte. But now that it's run, now they're getting really high ratings and high viewership.
Okay, on Disney Plus. Now I want to say something about that, because I think that is 100% accurate, that it is the number 1 show on Disney Plus, right?
Mhm.
Because
What else is competing with it? That's what I said.
exactly.
Yeah.
But if I pull up Disney Plus, because mine's mixed in with Hulu, the number 1 show in the US today is Shifting Gears.
Shifting Gears. Okay.
New show.
Yeah, I've never even heard of
Yeah,
that.
it's a new show. There's only 1 episode. I watched it. Yeah.
Dan,
And
have
then
you
the-
watched any of them?
And I saw you had Goosebumps as number 2, which is also a new show.
Oh, I want to see that. That looks good.
It's
Dan, have
another.
you watched any of the Skeleton Crew?
No, no.
See,
I think
see-
the Skeleton Crew viewership, it didn't start out super strong like Mando season 1, or like Squid Game. Like, people are really anticipating certain things to come out, so it gets high viewership from its original viewers who watched like the first part, kind of thing, right? So Skeleton Crew was kind of a new thing. It got marketed, I thought, very well. Acolyte was heavily marketed. I wouldn't use the word it was marketed very well, the Acolyte, but the Acolyte was an anticipated show, and people did want to see it. What they didn't know it was going to be all about
Right.
witches and stuff.
Sure.
But
So
Skeleton Crew in the near future, it will pick up the views because it's getting such a positive response that a lot of the haters are gonna hear, it was pretty good, man. Watch it with your kids, and they're gonna start to watch it, and
So-
like some people do. They like to wait for the series is done.
Okay.
All right, you
Yeah,
get a
watch
30
it.
Hold on.
second.
Listen
So
to what
it's gonna get
Jonathan's saying, and I'm gonna paraphrase on this. So he's saying, doesn't Disney always claim that the current new show is
Sure,
the best
sure.
viewed? So going along with that, if you've ever watched Apple do the release of the new iPhone, this is what they say: this is the most powerful camera to date. This has the best processor so far. You know what I mean? This screen has the highest resolution that we've made yet.
Yeah,
And
until next year.
doing that, and that's they can basically say exactly the same thing for every single release.
Sure, and it's good marketing too to say here's our number one show. Like it's a new commercial or a 30-second clip they can put on Twitter or Instagram Reels that say, because they're doing that. Like an hour after the show's on, they're sharing like Rotten Tomato scores and how positive it is. So like that's not generally part of the marketing budget. That's just someone on their social media that's being told, here 3 times a day we need you to this time we need this is a good time to push out these little commercials, so to speak. But that's not necessarily a part of the marketing budget, because that's all that's for TV commercials and other kind of things, right? Interviews and behind the scenes of how, like now today there's behind the scenes how we made the Onyx Cinder and in miniature form like that. I love that shit. They didn't do any of that for the Acolyte. They didn't do any of that for Obi-Wan Kenobi or Boba Fett. They did a lot of it for Mando. Every week they would show a little, here's a half-hour clip of how we made last week's episode on Disney Plus. So they made a new video on Disney Plus for people to go watch, and I'm sure those videos got just as many views as the episodes, because I think it's pretty entertaining content when they show how they make these high budget.
Can I say something real quick? See,
No.
I can understand John liking the show, but Vern, Rick, you guys are adults. I don't understand how you like it so much. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a fun show, but I don't know, man. Like I said before, I don't want my Star Wars to be the Goonies or E.T. I just feel that, like, if Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader were in the same world, it just wouldn't blend.
All right, so the Skeleton Crew is out Grey's Anatomy by 3 points. So here's the other problem, John, when you're talking about the Nielsen ratings. That's only people with the last name Nielsen are watching that show.
It's only tracking people who download the app like John did, but now John has to go back into the app and tell them, I watched this. It's not like there's a little robot on your TV that knows what you watch, or Google Lens is watching you. The Nielsen ratings is based on people that now they download the app. It used to be a little bot they brought to your house.
So I want to address
letter you'd have to write to them.
I want to address what Dean said. Dean, like, so I'm with you for the first few episodes on the idea of that was like the Goonies, but I think it's kind of pivoted a little bit, just because it caught a little bit more of Jod's character story in the last few episodes. And even though those kids are still like there and we're still getting their story, I think there's a pretty good mix at this point where there's a little bit for the different age audiences.
I just think it's super fun, and it's been a while since I had a fun show. I'm not going to say since Peacemaker. That was a fun show. Like it's more silly than.
I'm sorry. I have to mute Rick because he actually said the words Peacemaker on the live stream. He's timed out for
made on television ever.
He's timed out for like 10 seconds on the
I agree with Rick on that one, man. I love the Peacemaker.
No hating on Peacemaker.
Okay, Dean is also timed out now for 5 seconds.
Moment of silence for Rick and Dean.
All right. G-Force actually said that he felt like a lot of people made up their minds ahead of time based on the Acolyte. And I will tell you, I sort of enjoyed the Acolyte for the most part. I didn't really have a problem.
I did too. It just disappointed me.
I think that what's happening is, if you go in with expectations of getting Return of the Jedi, you're not getting that.
You have to have expectations as a Star Wars fan. And it's Lucasfilm.
You can't hold it to too high of expectations, though, because
you have to, though.
I don't think. I think you should go into the story with the expectation of, I'm going to get something in the Star Wars universe, and it's better than getting nothing from the Star Wars universe.
So what I think
better
happens
than what you're getting on the
CW
CW or CBS. It's top bar TV and movie making companies. So I expected a lot from the Acolyte, like $1 billion, let's go all out, super good special effects. And it wasn't that. It was a lot of stagecraft, like Ahsoka and Kenobi was. Same thing with Skeleton Crew. I expected it to be good. I didn't know how much money they spent on it, but I hoped a lot. And I think it shows. I think it shows the quality of every episode so far.
I don't think that it comes down to like how much money
movie
they
making.
spent. I really do think that falls to the showrunners.
It
right?
matters, man.
I think if you look at the difference in the way somebody runs their show, so it really does come down to selecting somebody to be a showrunner who actually cares about the content they're creating. Because honestly, I thought for the most part, I like The Acolyte. The one things that I would complain about is some of the acting didn't seem up to par, and some of the fight scenes, the choreography just seems slow to me. Like that whole floating through the air thing should have been a little bit faster, right? This has been pretty decent because they're not doing a whole lot of that type of stuff. And then the other reason why people are really into it is because they're kicking in a lot of like that nostalgia factor. This is capturing what The Force Awakens captured with the nostalgia, right? Like you basically got a remake almost of A New Hope with like new characters, and you bought into it. You know what I mean? But really, how far could that go? And I really think that's why Abrams kind of bailed out of that second one, because he didn't know how to build it from there. And
everyone knows how much I love Andor, and I think Andor is the top tier of quality.
Well, it's a different kind of a show,
Star Wars making, but TV making. So
because it's more cerebral than anything else.
And it had a high budget. So if you take Tony Gilroy, the maker of the Andor show, and you put him on, okay, Tony Gilroy, you get to make one season of Clone CW The Flash, and you get no budget. You got the same $30,000 Canadian budget per episode. I think the show would still be crap, even though Tony Gilroy made it and wrote it. And
no, I disagree with you. I think that guy will know how to use what he had. I think somebody who's a really good filmmaker and really, maybe if he didn't believe in the Flash, but say he's huge, maybe that's his passion, right? Like he's got a passion for a certain character, like what you're saying. That's why I'm saying you got to pick somebody who cares about the franchise, right? You can't just stick somebody in the seat and say, run with it. Now, I think J.J. Abrams was successful in Star Trek because I think he had like some sort of affinity for Star Trek. He had that same affinity for Star Wars. I mean, we all grew up around that time. So I think for the most part, I dig Star Wars. I dig, Star Trek. If they gave me the opportunity, I'm going to work my hardest and try to do the best I can with what I got. But I'm also going to try to like hit the points that made me feel like this was Star Wars or this was Star Trek. You have people that are show running that maybe don't have that affinity and just read some books and watched some movies at the last minute. They don't have that connection to it, so they don't know what to reach to. You know what I mean? Anyways, we're never going to solve the world's problems in that way. But Dean, I think you should, if you want, just pick up at like episode 4 and skip some of it.
And I've watched every single one of them. I've watched every single episode so far, and honestly, after the episode, it's like the last 2 episodes. Honestly, for what, a 30-minute episode, for me to fall asleep in that 30 minutes, it doesn't
really tired.
I mean, it doesn't. It's not that interesting to me.
All right, like Jonathan, I agree with what Jonathan's saying about that, because that goes with what I'm saying. But I understand that, Dean, you can't watch anything that's longer than 27 minutes. And
I can't watch anything after 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
listen, I'm watching the show called. I watch the show pretty religiously when it comes out on Apple TV Plus. It's called Slow Horses. It's made me watch a lot of these other British crime type spy whatever shows and stuff like that. All of them are really well made. I don't think they have huge budgets or anything like that. They
have Apple TV.
I'm not talking about the Apple one. I'm talking about the other ones I'm watching. But every single one of them is well written. The story's really done very, very well. When you go back in time and even watch stuff like The Prisoner or whatever like that, that is really engaging like TV. And I think like Andor, because of the way it's written, it's cerebral. It's like these kinds of like shows, right? So that's why I think it had that popularity, not because it was even Star Wars or anything. It's just really well done because, the writing has got you, and they're telling you like a story. It makes you like watch, be engaged, and, they're telling you some sort of deep and it's serious. I don't know.
And the
No, I
counter
agree
my
with
point
that.
about the budget, the Shogun series that was remade and came out last year, wasn't a super high budget show, right? But I thought it was still brilliantly made. You know, the acting was extra good, and the little bit of CGI they do use, where they, you know, they might change the mountains in the back and erase all the houses that are actually there because it's in my neighborhood. It was a lower budget show, but I still think it was so over the top. It's why it won.
Yeah,
like,
I think it got a lot of work. I'll say this about the Shogun. Even that thing that they did in the 80s or whatever, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night specials or whatever that they did, where it was a 3-part miniseries or whatever it was. Even that today, if you were to watch it, it captures like the essence of what was in the book. And that's why it was so good, right? Because the book was so good. So that source material, as long as they like kind of like, you know, like present it. I mean, I think that's the most important thing is like they, you know what I mean?
No, it's a good point. And I wonder if Tony Gilroy was a majority writer for his Andor series, or if he has like,
I don't know,
a writing team that is his, you know, lifeblood or his teamwork, teammates.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good point, Vern.
I think the Skeleton Crew would be better as a mini movie on Disney Plus versus a series.
I think if they I think the problem is if they would have made it a movie, it would because what
cut it down to 2
earlier,
hours.
It was meant to be a movie originally, actually.
I think people would have put that in the category of like this Christmas special, and it probably wouldn't. But because it keeps getting put in front of your face every week, and then it's getting like the reviews that it's getting, I think people are saying like, oh, okay, maybe I will pick this up. I will watch it and stuff like that. And I think you're going to be completely awake for the entire final episode, Dean, because I heard that it's only 18 minutes long.
I heard it.
Yeah, right. What are they?
They're going to wrap up the entire season in 4 minutes because
I might have to do a
part of that 18
Clockwork
minutes is the intro, the second intro, the credits, and all the different languages.
I think I should watch it standing up. I think that would be mine.
At the back end, perfect.
Quite frankly, I don't even know why you're even watching it, Tino. Like after like 2 episodes, if that's how you felt about it, I can't believe you continued on.
Because I'm hoping for something else. I'm like, come on, let's see something interesting besides some owl.
I won't do that.
Owl like ratting out.
I will not waste
your
my
Star Wars
time.
collection based on your hate for the new Skeleton Crew. You should just sell all your toys. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Give up.
No, I think because like with Agatha, I watched 3 episodes and I could not get into it. It bored me so much I didn't bother watching.
I haven't finished that either.
I could not bother. And people have told me, well, it gets way better. And I tried to watch episode 4, and after 5 minutes, I go, it's not getting any better. And I
think the difference between that and for me with the Skeleton Crew is because I agree with you with Agatha. A lot of people said it's real good, but I just can't get back into it. I honestly don't care about Agatha. That's why.
Yeah.
As far as Star Wars, I care about Star Wars. So even though I'm not really enjoying it as much as everybody else, I still want to know what happens.
Because
I think, Dean, you should have said, I care about Star Wars as proof by these figures that are right over my left shoulder and all of these things that I have over my right side.
I care about Aubrey Plaza, and that's the only reason I watched the series.
And these are the toys revealed that you did not know you needed.
I think this show, we got to end it, man. It's already been almost an hour and a half. How long are we going to be here?
The Micronauts
are coming out.
And these disappointed me so much yesterday when they revealed them.
Dun, dun, dun. I didn't even think they look like the Micronauts.
No, they don't.
They're Reaction Plus figures. So they had their O-rings. So like the newest Joes they have Reaction and Reaction Plus now.
Now I had the Micronauts, and I was like looking at this going, weren't the Micronauts much thinner?
Yeah,
they were made of metal, and
characters they made are the larger robots they made that you put your Micronauts in.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I get it, but I mean, they should have made these so you can put Micronauts in them. Like
what they should have done is this guy should have been an Ultimates.
He's like
Yeah.
a Shogun Warrior size.
Should have been
guy.
an Ultimates, and then they should have made the little Micronauts small enough to where they could fit inside the Ultimate
I
side.
agree.
Yeah.
I hope they do better.
They
Is this
still
the only
had
one?
Clear thing.
No,
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 they
here
got
we
the
go.
bad guy too.
Baron Kaza right there. Now
So
I'm happy to
wondering
pick
if
these up
that's
next
that
year
metal,
for
or if
$7.99
that's-
at Ross.
Or one of that's metal. No, these are $20. You can pre-order them now.
I
But I wonder if
said
there's metal in them.
I'd be happy to pick these up next year for $7.99 at Ross.
This guy looks awesome, honestly.
Does Super 7
kinda
sell the
cool.
Ross? I guess they do, right?
Right.
Don't- They may be
All
from
the Ross
Target.
figures ended up at Ross this year for $7.99.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen this original character.
It's like
You don't have any
Mazinga
Micronauts?
size. Like I think they're.
I do.
canon.
I have a couple of Micron. I have the playset.
Should be on the back of the box then, or the back of the packaging.
Well,
Does
it's not a figure; it's a whole playset.
They
Sure,
teased
yeah.
these 2 days
Show
ago, and
you
then
what's on the back.
I was excited. Then they showed the pictures, and I'm
That's
like,
Power
"Oh,
Rangers,
these aren't
man.
what I expected."
$7.99 at Ross.
Oh,
Just like these ones showed up.
yeah, that's
Exactly, Jonathan. Yeah, they weren't. Yeah, why make an O-ring version of something that wasn't an O-ring?
But they were kind of O-ring. They were the most articulable action figures ever made at the time.
They were very
Yeah.
articulate for their time.
The hands would just fall off and get lost because they were like 3 grains of rice. They were so small. The little
Yeah,
little
3 grains of rice. Yeah.
tiny little accessories.
Do you want me to
They
get
had
my
great-
Micronauts so you can
They had
compare? 'em?
great spaceships
No.
that you could build
Right.
onto, and they were modular. And
Yeah,
so I was hoping for cool stuff.
the little vehicle I have completely comes apart. Wheels, the front, the middle,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
back, the top, everything.
Now, I will tell you that, like, when you look at this guy's upper legs, does it look metal, or you think that's just?
Well, that's
No.
what I'm wondering. It doesn't say in the description. I looked.
It
There's
doesn't
no
look
metal
metal.
on these at all. They're all plastic. Yeah.
You know that 100% for fact.
Well, there is metal because that T-bar in the crotch is metal.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, what I'm wondering, John, is 100% fact. You
Well, I have
know-
no idea. I haven't touched
Oh,
them
okay,
yet. I don't have one in my hands. I have
Well,
no
you said
clue.
it. I thought you knew because you were like 100%. They're not.
Because there was some Micronauts that were mostly metal.
I'm just saying nobody would make metal toys today. Like, they don't do that. Not action figures anyway.
I
This would
wonder
be
if the
cool.
cost.
If I see this in the ultimate scale, I might consider it.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, this
Unless-
they got the
unless-
license, maybe they will.
Unless
Yeah.
Super 7 is like, oh, these are $39.99, then maybe they are made out of metal. But I don't know the price point on these either.
$20.
20 bucks. Americano.
Yeah.
All right.
too
And
much.
then they had these GI Joe reveals. Now these ones are a little bit bigger than the old O-ring Joes, right? These are like taller.
Are
No,
they?
they're the
Are they?
exact same.
I don't think they're
Exact same as those
3.75
Micronauts you just saw.
because I got another picture of the ones later. These are like O-rings, right? These are the O-ring ones. Are they
Yeah, the Action
3.75?
Plus.
375. Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
hope
That
so,
is-
but if they're not, they did
Is
a
this Super
disservice.
7 also?
Yes.
Yeah, so the first ones they released, I think, were those Cobra Twins in a 2-pack, and every single review I've seen them on YouTube have been very positive. Even Super 7 hater channels have said good things about these figures.
Yeah.
But I think these ones cost more than 20 bucks. They might
I
are,
think they're
are
like
like
25
25 bucks.
25. I think they're
Yeah.
25.
Wow.
So that's a little licensing difference between.
Well, Jonathan,
Hasbro
right?
also
Like,
owns
Jonathan,
the Micronauts brand.
You have all
So it's
these in
weird
your
that GI Joe
7
costs
collection.
more in licensing fees than the Micronauts does from the same company.
You could buy a vintage one for around that price. Or
They're
like
they're
sometimes less.
$19.99 on Big
Sometimes
Bad.
less.
Okay,
Oh, they have the same
1999.
price? Okay.
All right, so this is some sort of a transforming rope rat.
Yeah, it's a Rat Trap. It's the classic.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
It looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
And
But I wanted to
those-
get to this. This is why I was like, I thought they were bigger
those
because
are the bigger ones.
these are the bigger ones. These are
Yeah.
bigger than the 3.75.
Yeah.
And those look like they're quite getting good love too, as well. There's even a couple people that have reviews on YouTube already.
Well, because
Who-
these
who's that Yeti
these
guy?
these two particular figures were bigger in the cartoon.
Yeah, they were like
Oh,
8
what?
inches, right?
Well, in the cartoon, they were taller than the main characters. So if they never made toys of them in the
Oh, is that no toy ever? Okay.
No, they
I
never
think
made toys.
this is a case of these things came out and like they showed them off, but then they're just out there. Like you could probably find these if you were an avid toy hunter. You could probably go get them today because
See, now, because like
they're out
these,
now because Robo's done a review on them.
I'll tell you
it doesn't
right
matter
now,
because he just gets stuff sent to him.
these
But
two
he doesn't
figures,
get prototypes sent to him. He gets factory made stuff.
I'll tell you, these two figures are the ones that I would buy for my GI Joe collection because they never made these.
Yeah.
And fans of the cartoon would be like, "That's so cool that we can finally have those in our GI Joe collection."
Now,
So
who's that Yeti guy? School me.
It's one of the little Fatal Fluffy guys. Yeah, there he is, Fatal Fluffy. See on the package?
That is insane, man. I might have to grab that guy. I like him.
Well, you're gonna have to head out today, Dean.
I've already been out today.
See you later,
All
Dan.
No,
Yes,
is this
Hands out. See ya.
this is probably what, Target?
Did you get upset because we were showing these off?
Why'd you get rid of Dan? I think
You know,
He didn't say goodbye, so maybe I think Vern actually booted him.
I don't think
didn't do anything.
he shut his mic off earlier, so maybe he was saying I'm taking off, but forgot to put his mic on.
Oh, maybe. All right, I think
It's
he got
cool.
upset
The
because
fact that they're making figures of characters like from this cartoon generation that Hasbro didn't produce in these certain color forms, like that Duke you saw first. He's in a fancy yellow color in the cartoons that Hasbro never did really make that particular Duke, right?
Yeah,
the
they
cartoony look.
No,
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought their
Jonathan has a
license
question
was
for
only based on the
Yeah.
Sunbow cartoons.
John
How much would you pay for these,
for these.
John?
I mean, I'd probably, I mean, I'd pay 30 to 35 just because I want those figures, but I would not pay more than that.
What about
40?
40?
At $40 each, that's probably a little too much.
They're not 40.
All right.
But you would do
If it was
35
the only
each.
way to get them, John. What if that was it? They were $40 and they were limited run. You're never going to see them again.
I'd never get them then.
Oh, okay.
Really? That extra $5 would make you say no?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Really?
Because I'm not spending $80. Like, you know what else I can buy for $80? A lot of vintage stuff. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
But you'll never ever be able to find those figures.
Whatever. I didn't have them when I was a kid. I don't have
Are
them
these
now. Who
3
cares?
3/4?
Yeah,
So
but they're a
long?
little bit bigger because they're bigger people.
These are cool. Yeah.
Yeah, these are pretty cool.
They're
Now,
not
who puts this
available
on?
yet,
Is
so
this
I
Super 7?
can't find a price on these larger O-rings.
All right. So that is the Silverhawks.
Yeah, is this Super 7? Silverhawks?
Yes, still Super 7.
Look at that vac
Oh,
metal.
Super
Goodness.
7's like
Let's see. Hold on. Classified Rymar and the Big Boa Buck incoming. Place your bets. One of the mass device. Oh, okay. So this is what we're talking about here. So when I first saw this, I thought, is that Roadblock? Because didn't the Classified series do the Roadblock with a big beard like that?
Yeah, I thought you liked
Yeah.
this, Vern. I wasn't sure if you follow them on social medias, but I saw this and I'm like, wow, that's a good looking army
It looks
space dude.
it looks a bit more like heavy duty than Roadblock though, but
The
yeah.
problem is
What
they're
a great
bigger
beard.
than the Classified figure, so probably not. I don't think he would scale with the Classified, right?
They're bigger, yeah.
I think Legions are 6-inch scale and not 7-inch.
I don't know. I feel like because those Mythic Legions
I don't have
figures
one.
aren't they a little bit bigger than regular like figures?
Yeah, they might be, but
They're,
they
like,
might be in that
upscale.
kind of middle range where they're like 6.5.
I
You
guess
know what I
it'd be,
mean?
yeah. Oh, there he is. I guess it would be cool because you'd have a bigger guy. I like the shield. That's about all I like here.
I like the beard
Yeah.
Who's that?
and the
Legions
who
are
is-
6-inch is what Jonathan's saying.
Is this Super 7 again?
No.
No, this is 4 Horsemen. So the best part about these figures is how all these parts, legs, calves, arms, heads, everything, they're all swappable with almost
Rick's
every
really
other
working
figure
on
they've
like a
made.
sponsorship deal with them right now. He's hoping.
So a lot of these parts are reused from other characters they've made over the years. Well, this Cosmic Legions has only been around a short time, but you know, they add a couple original parts like that helmet and that bearded head might be from like, you know, some other Mythic Legion.
So is this one character, just different accessories?
Yeah.
It's crazy to me how they just keep showing new stuff off, but like they're still not done producing the stuff they showed off a year ago.
It's really
It's annoying, is what it is.
They're just busy counting money.
Yeah.
So are they taking people's money for that?
Yeah, they would probably already take your money, but you're not going to.
No, this is a convention tour exclusive figure.
No,
this
there's a different one. That's
okay. You're right.
All right, so this is some GI Joes prototypes that they've been finding on the internet. I think they look pretty good.
I'm all for the animals. I dig them. I just wait for them to go on sale.
Cool. Loving that Law and Order.
Yeah. All right, and then I saw this. This is the Air Eagle. It's getting ready to go up for sale or whatever pretty soon. This is a 1/12 scale vehicle. I don't know the price point or anything. I'm waiting for them to like put more information. Apparently this is out there, so I think people already know about it.
Yeah, I think these are. That's the GI Joe. I think these are 3D printed. Like,
yeah, this is a smaller company making these.
Like that Gridiron kind of company. I think I could be wrong, but I don't think these are mass-produced injection molded toys.
Yeah, this is not Gridiron. This is another group of guys that are
looks cool. I like it.
They look pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's cool that like there's a lot of different people popping up trying to do something.
The packaging's killer though. I love it.
I like the packaging too. Yeah.
Yeah, I would display it just like that. Wouldn't even take it out of the box.
See, Gridiron should. You bought some Gridiron stuff, right, Vern?
Yeah, and they supposedly shipped something last Friday.
Do they have?
But the post office still hasn't received it. So.
Do they have cool looking packaging, or do they come in Ziplocs?
Nah, just generic.
But package design, like there's some design like these, or
no? I'll show you the next time I get something from them.
Then they should step up and make some cool generic packaging.
Yeah, they need to do. They do need to step up. They need to produce packaging. Is what they need to do. So this is that Phantom Corpse, which is part of the Monster Force. This is going to be the convention exclusive. Supposedly, if you go to one of these conventions, you show them your Big Bad Toy Store account
or something,
and they add the pre-order to your account.
That's why you'd like this figure, Vern, like because I know you bought.
That's how
those
you get
Monster Force are like true 6-inch, similar to Joe's, right?
I have not got one of them.
Wasn't that Red Dracula made?
The Red Dracula is the only one, and because it fell apart, I haven't gotten any of them.
But you can. It is 6 inches though, right? That Dracula, not
yeah.
So that's why I thought you might like this, just because it's 6-inch army guy with hats and helmets and all. You know, more accessories than 11 GI Joes, right?
Okay, so I asked them specifically about that body joint, whether or not if it was just the plastic or if that's like a QC issue that they're working on or what the deal is. They will not respond to any of those types of questions.
Oh, interest on your translucent figure.
You know what'll fix it though? That loose joint, hot glue.
Hot glue.
Yeah, but then he won't be able to move. So there's no point to have a joint there. Yeah. So what I want to know is that this guy won't fall apart if I take the vest off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Because with the vest will help hold it together. But if I take the vest off, am I not going to be able to do the articulation at that point?
Monster Force people, answer the question: will this figure fall apart? Let us know in the comments.
And the guy that Rick mentioned earlier got all these Monster Force figures from them so he could do a mass review. I asked specifically about that question and doesn't respond.
You're off the mailing list now.
Yeah, because that's the one decent review I saw on that first wave.
Won't answer questions.
And I remember him. I remember them not breaking on him on his video.
Well, he also did not articulate them as much either. He did not put them through paces.
But yeah, Vern, you're almost like me. You're pretty much like every third review you're going to break something. So
look, if you have your figures and the thing is you want to use them, and for me, my intent is I want to be able to pose them in like fighting scenes or do stop motion or whatever is my plan, right? So that if they can't move and maneuver, then they're not going to work out.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you
I
have a
think it's
waist,
just
You can't just
because
have a
of
whole
that
bunch of people standing around.
yeah, if you have
translucent
waist
plastic
articulation
burn.
and you move the figure waist and it breaks apart, then
Right.
it's not
Every time
really-
I try to like do a movement and it comes apart, then I got a problem.
See, the problem with like NECA figures, when I move an ankle, the foot falls right off.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why even put that there? if
NECA's
that's gonna
customer
be an
service,
issue?
like, do they replace their stuff when it breaks?
NECA's horrible. I don't know about Monster.
What if you
Boys.
Depends.
sent
If you
them
buy
a-
something from Target or Walmart, you have to deal with Target or Walmart. If you
What
buy
if you-
something from Big Bad Toy Store,
That's
you
not
have to deal with
necessarily
Big
hold
Bad.
on. That's not necessarily
Well,
truth because
it is.
Hasbro
By
has their
law,
own
it is.
service. When you buy something from Walmart, you could go directly to Hasbro, and what they ask for is that little number on the foot, and they just want to see that you purchased it, and they never tell you to take it back to Walmart. They always say, if we
Yeah.
have it, we'll send you a new one, or we'll send you something of equal value. That's what their deal is. But I'm wondering what NECA does in that case. What if you were to send them a mailing label that they can print out and send you the replacement part, and you told them that if they didn't do it, you would no longer purchase from them? Then would they go ahead and do it?
I told you, I purchased a NECA figure directly from NECA, and it came with a broken foot. You know, so I didn't have to break it on my own. They did it for me.
I didn't
Yeah.
have to.
So I contacted them. They said that they were going to send me a replacement, and they never did.
Wow,
Oh wow.
that is
Yeah, see
awful.
that sucks. If you order it from NECA Direct, Super 7 Direct, Hasbro Direct, and something happens, then guaranteed that toy company who just produced that toy, who just shipped it to you and sold it to you,
Yeah.
or maybe they pre-sold it to you 8 months ago, definitely must replace and maybe even refund. Like
And the
do
thing
both
is
kind of thing, right?
am I supposed to keep contacting them after they said they were going to do it? Do I have to contact them a month later and
Yes,
say, hey, where's
and
my
then
figure?
remind them that they
No.
were supposed to do it.
I'm
And then
Yeah.
that month later, they don't have any left, right? So yeah, that sucks. You know,
Well,
I don't like hearing that.
You know that general, the Kree, the stormtrooper that has the lightsaber? I got that direct from Hasbro, and what they wanted to do was they wanted to send me something of equal or lesser, and I was like argued with them, and they ended up sending me like 2 figures, but neither
and it
one
had
of
raw
them were the
stickers on it.
Stormtrooper. And then when I went back to them and I told them, hey, they go, well, we didn't have those in
Yeah,
stock, and I'm
Johnny.
like, what are you talking about? It's right here on your site.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, okay. Well, and then they wanted to just refund me and have me buy it again. And I was like, yeah, but I got free shipping. So are you refunding me enough to pay for shipping? Right. Because now I got to pay for. Ultimately, they just sent me out a new one. But
I remember at Star
took a
Wars
lot of
Celebration
conversations with
in
them.
Chicago in 2018, they had the Luke Skywalker and Darth Maul Black Series hologram cards. Like that was the exclusive convention thing. And the first day, I won the lotto to stand in line, however those games work. And I got there, and I got to the end, and they're like, "Oh, we're sold out." I'm like, "Well, what about those 2 you have hanging on the wall right there? Your display items?" And they're like, "Oh, no, that we need those for display." I'm like, "No, you don't, man. You can put 2 new ones up tomorrow, or from the box and behind you. Can you sell me those?" "No, we can't." I'm like, "Hey, you."
That's
What
like
a
going to
waste of-
Disneyland where they had the popcorn bucket, the AT-AT popcorn bucket. And I didn't get it because the only one they had left was the display, and they would not
Right,
sell
yeah.
it to me.
Yeah, what you do is you sell that one, and you sell it at a discount to make your customer happy. Like when you're the biggest companies in the world, man, you have a little bit of wiggle room. But
No,
when
you
you're a
don't.
small, like Vern,
No.
your video on the toy companies, and you compared Ramen Toy and this Monster Forest company, and I still have 8 minutes left to go in the videos. I haven't watched it all, but I mean, I
It's only a
understand
3-minute video, but okay.
a smaller company like Ramen Toy, like if you buy a figure from them for $40 and you pay for shipping and they send it to you and something's broken and you contact them, they're like, okay, well, I'll send you a new part. Well, I won't charge you shipping. So now that replacement thing or figure, they have to eat that, and they have to eat the shipping costs. So what they've done is they've just lost all profit they made on that toy they sold to you, and that hurts that smaller company. But Hasbro's and NECA's and
But the
big
thing
companies,
is, they did it, Rick. That's the
shouldn't
that's
hurt
the
them at
kicker.
all because
They
they
never
made
responded.
much more profit on that figure. That
Yeah.
they're still making a few bucks after
But
sending your replacement.
But with like ramen, so they're pretty new, right? Like, and what they did was They actually just shipped me the lower legs. They never responded to my email. Just I walked
Okay.
out to the mailbox and I had the legs in the mailbox. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I didn't even know it was coming. So what they may have lost in that one sale, they won in goodwill. You know what I
Good to
mean?
hear.
For the
Yeah.
future. So that is cementing themselves as somebody who will stand behind their stuff. And somebody commented about their CAG set on that video that basically they didn't get it because it didn't make it through the checks or whatever. And they were tracking it and they had immediately just shipped them a new one when it got lost in the mail. They
See,
know
what a
they
different
knew.
story from Dino's story talking about NECA.
Yeah.
Which is a big company that's been around at least 10 years, right?
It's really
15
not
years
that
or
big of
more.
a company, believe it or not.
Yeah, but they're 10 times bigger than Ramen Toy. They sell to Walmart, to Target. They sell to all the toy stores. They make 10,000 of each figure as opposed to 1 or 2,000, right?
Yeah.
Even Valaverse is getting bigger. Like I don't know, but I mean, for sure he's making thousands of these characters now as opposed to maybe the first run might have been a lot lower numbers, right? Because
he's only
he's
made
spending his
probably
own
like
money to
30
get this stuff
characters.
started.
He hasn't even he hasn't he just
Or
celebrated his
kickstarted.
100th product,
Yeah.
which isn't a character because he did weapons packs, head packs, that type of stuff, and he counted all those as individual products. So 100 products last year. So he's nowhere near 1,000. But anyway,
Well, Rick, comments coming back at NECA because of that, because of the way. I tell
yeah,
you,
it is.
if NECA was more responsive and replaced figures and their customer service was much better, I guaranteed more than half of the people would have sent back their turtle layers.
Oh, for sure. Well, that whole fiasco with the double shipping and send it back or we won't sell it to you no more. I'm talking to you, 2 Ninja Turtle van holding dude. That's bad, man. Whoever tweeted that or made that email, they should have been demoted or fired because it's the opposite of good customer service.
Well, I think
It's
we
worse
had that
than bad customer
conversation
service. It's like
2
telling
weeks
you
ago.
to shut up.
No, I agree. That was a conversation that took place a while back. But
All right. So
the
we don't
fact
need
is, I think we're talking about one company that
yeah.
stands behind their toys and another company that doesn't.
Yeah, and I think you know, yeah, maybe their karma will come back. But anyways, I don't have much time because I have some place I got to be.
Jeez, yeah, it's all about Vern. It's all about Vern.
You guys can carry on without me. And I do have one thing to say before we go. On Super John has a new channel called the Super Awesome Cooking Fiasco channel. And
it's not cooking, is it?
Super awesome food show.
If the Dixie plates and cups people are watching, you will never see the Super Awesome Cooking Show do one dish because he uses his plates for cutting boards, for pretty much everything. So if Dixie, if you're out there watching, I think you should sponsor the Super Awesome Cooking Show because there's not another cook in America who's going to use his Dixie plates for every single thing in his kitchen.
So Vern, that would have been a great promo, but you got his whole channel name wrong.
Yeah, you record that in private, Vern, and send it to Super John so we can use that.
It's a Super Awesome Food Network channel.
No, I do want to ask before we go there, John, did you really use that plate as a cutting board? Because I noticed the half a pickle was still on there.
Yeah, you didn't put that last pickle on the burger.
Yes, I did cut it in the plate. Yes.
All right. So
because you should never use cutting boards when cutting vegetables and especially meat and stuff like that. No, because you always
wait. So you shouldn't use a cutting board for cutting vegetables or meat. What should you use a cutting board for?
You shouldn't actually probably use cutting boards at all, because what happens is your knife inevitably creates a scratch in the cutting board material. And inside those scratches, little nooks and pieces of food get in there. And no matter how much you clean that thing off or think you cleaned it off, there's bacteria growing in those little cracks. So the next time
there's something called like a dishwasher or
I've never had an issue washing a cutting board.
All right. So John, you should do a whole episode about
cutting
cutting
board.
board bacteria on,
They've
on a
done-
channel
they've
called
now
the
done
Super
studies
Awesome
on it.
Science Channel.
They've now done studies
channels.
on it and shown that there's lots of bacteria on people's cutting boards.
Because a paper
And
plate
then-
will stop
and-
a sharp knife going through the paper
So
to
John's
cut your
solution is to
countertop.
use
It
a
does.
Dixie plate, which is coated and cannot be recycled. So will ultimately just end up in the landfill for the next 100,000 years. But so if you're watching Dixie, I think you know where to go.
Start making cutting boards.
Yeah. Start
And
making paper cutting
processed
boards.
cheese slices are not cheddar. Just so you
Perfect.
should know that.
Paper cutting boards.
I have
Anyway.
cheddar slices.
Anyway, so if you want some butter,
I have
or
Swiss
if you want some-
slices.
if
I have
you want the
sliced
cheese
Swiss,
in your
I have
butter
sliced
sandwich.
cheddar, I have sliced provolone.
All right, we done here?
Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We really appreciate it. We'll be back next week on the Toy Duo team. Hopefully.
Arr.
See you next time.
Bye, guys and
Bye.
gals.
Action, fear, and toy news. Talking movies and TV. All the planets get represented like Hasbro, McFarlane, and it got to the Toy Duo theme.
Put up Jumpy's comment. Right there, Jumpy. Getting on the floor.